everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing I Came By on Netflix, directed by Babak Anvari and starring Hugh Bonneville, George Mackay, Kelly McDonald and Percelle Ascott. Two vandals break into a nice house only to have their suspicions quickly raised that the homeowner might just be a serial killer. But before we go any further, you know what to do by now. Use the power of your fingertips wisely and press that like button, press the subscribe button if you haven't already, because it really does make all the difference to the channel and we thank you if you do. So let's get into what I liked about I Came By. I really enjoyed how cut and dry this movie was. I was expecting characters to be wrapped in plot armor, but they aren't. If a character, regardless of if it's a main character or a background character, if they make a costly mistake, well, they pay for it. And I really did appreciate that commitment. It added a lot of weight to the situation, and it also kept me on my toes to not know what's coming next. I also thought the cast was outstanding here. Everyone is giving a top draw performance. Hugh Bonneville is the standout by a country mile. It's so refreshing to see him take on such a different character from what you would normally expect from him, and he absolutely shines in the role. I really hope he takes on more work like this in the future. But as far as I'm concerned, that man can do no wrong no matter what he does. He will always have my respect after giving my mum a FaceTime call when she was working in care during the pandemic. What a guy. Long live Bonneville. I also enjoyed the mystery around the film. I was constantly invested and wanted to know more and where it was going. It's very clearly inspired by movies like Rear Window or Disturbia, yet it feels like it still has its own original take on the idea. It's filmed very nicely, it's edited very nicely, and the sound design is very good here as well. I liked how controlling they were of the music. It's subtle and it's not always in your face. Sometimes there's no music at all and it really just added to the tension in that moment. But I don't think it's a perfect movie, not by a long shot. I actually thought the writing was mostly good, but there are still some problems in there. And they're quite small problems, but they do leave a lasting impact. Characters do make some pretty silly decisions, mostly Kelly McDonald's character, but she's not the only one guilty of it. Simple things like maybe when you're breaking into someone's house, you should try and be quiet. Yeah, there's times here where people are just banging doors and footsteps loudly. And I'm sitting there thinking, you do know you're not meant to be in this house right now, and you have fears that the guy who owns it is a bad guy. Maybe you should shh a little bit. I also think the movie needs to have a better introduction. It felt way too rushed to me. I didn't really understand the environment that this story takes place in. We sort of start with this idea that it's all about a radical graffiti movement, and maybe it's a somewhat dystopian future to a degree, and then all of that seems to be completely and utterly dropped, and it all just becomes about what's going on with Hugh Bonneville. I don't really understand what the graffiti had to do with it. It didn't really give me an idea of what the characters were about or why they do that for a hobby. I don't know, it just feels like a complete lack of motivation, and it didn't make me like those characters either. Mostly because I couldn't understand them. Not verbally, I understood what they were saying. I mean, I couldn't understand why they were so hell-bent on their decisions that they made. And as much as I understand that Hugh Bonneville's character does have to be shrouded in mystery, because that's ultimately the point of the film and what we're going to uncover along the way, but by the end I still don't feel like I fully understood him or nor his motivations. I do feel quite inclined to maybe go on YouTube and look up an ending explained video, because I personally feel like scenes are just missing. It's like the film starts to rush. It feels like it's almost running out of time to tell its full story, so it just sort of doesn't. And it's a shame, because if they did, I think I would be rating this film very, very highly. So I'm going to give I Came By a 7 out of 10. This is a really solid movie, especially for Netflix, but it is also disappointing because I feel like it could have been a lot better as well, by just fixing some of the smaller details. Fleshing out that introduction so I understand the world and the environment we're in and the pressures that the characters face, and maybe spending an extra 10 more minutes with Hugh Bonneville so that I can actually really walk away and feel like I fully understand what that was all about. Those aspects left me feeling shortchanged, but I still had a really good time with this movie and I was fully invested, and I thoroughly enjoyed the mystery and the tension on offer. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button, and please do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comment section. Have you seen I Came By? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.